And welcome to Ask the Experts here on Newstalk 1290 is CJBK. With us right now on the program, our longtime real estate expert from Royal LePage, Triland Realty, Joan Ball. On the program with us, you of course can hear Joan as well every Monday to Friday with Real Estate Matters, and on Ask the Experts every other Saturday. And we welcome Joan to the program. Hello, Joan.
Hello, how are you?
Great. It's great to hear your voice. Great to have you on the program today. And it's been relatively a nice past week that we just had with lots of sun and everything else. And it gets people in the spring mood a little more and gets them outside and everything like that. Has it got things amping up a little bit in the real estate world as well, Joan, in terms of activity? Give us a recap over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. We're starting to see a significant increase in the number of properties on the market, and there has been a shortage of properties. So the buyers are certainly responding. I'm starting to see more multiple offers. Now, because there's multiple offers, a lot of people assume then the eventual price is going way over list price, and that's not necessarily the case. I'm seeing some multiple offers where it's landing on list price or maybe even a little bit below. So that's not necessarily the case. So as we sort of ramp up through the spring, I think we'll see a little bit of an increase on the average price of a property. But when I review sort of the end of April stats in comparison with 2022, our average price is about $662, $892, so in that range. We are seeing a little faster sale on days on market, that kind of thing. So, and then when we look at sort of what's happening with the general response outside of the city, we're certainly seeing St. Thomas pick up, Woodstock pick up, and Strathroy as well. So we're into the spring market. I always say the flowers come up and the for sale signs come up.
I love it. Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290 CJBK from Royal LePage, Triland Realty. If you are looking for a professional with lots of experience in the real estate market, particularly here in the London area, give Joan a call at 519-672-9880. Joan, just quickly as well, during the height of the pandemic in terms of real estate sales and everything and prices escalating, we were hearing a lot about people coming from other markets, GTA, of course, being one of them. Has that sort of settled down a little bit?
No, we're still seeing a fair bit of activity from the, I would say, the greater GTA, sort of the Mississauga areas, Hamilton. We're starting to see individuals. I mean, we're still seeing it. Let me put it that way. Maybe not in quite the same amount, the same numbers, but that activity is still present.
Okay, Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290. Something popped into my head this morning, Joan. When somebody buys a home, and the home, say, has had some renovations, whether it be maybe a small addition or some decks put on the home in the exterior, and the previous homeowner did not, say, get the proper permits for work that was done, maybe an outbuilding or something, what liability or what would the new owner have to worry about in those situations? Or is there a way to prevent that? And if you knew ahead of time, there are steps to be taken. Is that something you've ever come across where, you know, a homeowner has done work not without the proper permits, and then down the road, is something ever happened to the then current owners of the home?
So here's the thing. As a buyer's representative, that's one of the things that I should be checking and verifying that those permits were taken out. I have had situations where I, as a buyer's representative, discovered that a permit was not closed on a particular work order, and we have insisted that the seller close that, have the proper inspections, prior to closing. So that has certainly happened. I haven't been in a situation where my buyers have taken possession of a property and then discovered that those permits were not taken out or were not closed,
Right.
or that we didn't try and rectify that prior to closing. That is, I have had situations over the years where other agents have asked me, there was an addition put on, no permit taken out, that kind of thing. I would certainly, before you close is always the best time to have that conversation with the municipality to ensure that that can be taken care of, or however you choose to approach it, that's acceptable to you. But I personally haven't been in that situation, and I think that's a kind of a difficult one to address after the fact.
Yep, gotcha. Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts from Royal LePage, Triland Realty. You can reach Joan at 519-672-9880 and visit the website joanball.com, and that is where you'll find the listings that Joan currently has. And Joan, you've got a couple that are on the market right now. Do you want to start with one of them?
Yeah, sure. I have a wonderful property in Strathroy, 155 Deborah Drive, which is in the north end. Was built in 2008, so still relatively new. It is a one floor with 4 bedrooms, has a double car garage, triple wide driveway, which is paving stones, and the walkways, full front sitting porch, as well as a covered back concrete porch and full patio, fenced yard. It has 3 full bathrooms, very open concept main floor, and we're listed at $729,900. And then I have a coming soon, which I think is going to get a fair bit of activity as well, at 441 Burdock Place, which is a dead-end street. And it is going to be listed for $299,900. It is a 2-bedroom, 1 floor, full front sitting porch, back deck, good size lot. And certainly, if anyone has any interest in either of those, feel free to give me a shout.
Wow, excellent. And Burdick Place on a dead-end road, that's attractive to a lot of people too, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a really good one for a first-time home buyer or someone who wants to get in and put their own stamp on a property.
That's wonderful. You can visit the website joanball.com, and Joan's phone number 519-672-9880. Joan, as you mentioned as well, a lot of action happening out there, people buying, selling, or at least more homes coming on the market, and a lot of interest in terms of buyers right at the moment. When you talk to buyers that are maybe just going out on their own and dropping into an open house here and there, and maybe they work with an agent, but some homes are going to, like I say, without an agent. What do you tell them to look for when they step in? Or maybe it starts from the outside, just visually, to kind of get a feel for the home. And you've talked before about the bones and the structure and that. Is there some advice that you can give to people that are just sort of looking and maybe don't have the intimate knowledge of the home or how a home works, particularly in terms of the ins and outs? What advice would you give them to look for?
Well, it's interesting. I always say that how a person cares for their windows will demonstrate how they care for their home in general. So, windows are one of those areas that I really pay attention to initially. Obviously, the bones of the property have to be good. If the structure is solid and straight, then obviously we're already starting off in the right direction. With enough money, you can do anything as far as renovations and fixing up and that kind of thing. And it really depends on the client. If they're so inclined to say, okay, I just want this location, I'm going to modify and do my own thing on the main floor or within the structure, that's a whole different kettle of fish than somebody who says, I'm a first-time home buyer. I know nothing about doing anything. You kind of want to make sure that they like the layout and how it demonstrates. They may want to put their own paint, sort of some decor to their own flavor. But at the end of the day, the house should suit them for 5 years or 50 years. So don't necessarily especially if you're a first-time home buyer, think that this is always going to be a good stepping stone. We'll be here for 2 years or a year or whatever, and then we'll move on. Because life happens, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to be there a lot longer than you think. So make sure that the bones and the space and what it offers will help serve you down the road.
Can you just expand a tad bit about the windows side of things, Joan? I found that very intriguing that you say, how people take care of their windows goes a long way. Is there something that stands out that somebody who doesn't really know the ins and outs should be looking for when it comes to windows?
Yeah, how someone maintains their window space. Are they clean? Are they up to date? Have they given it some attention? Have they taken care of it? The windows. It's like when you meet somebody, they can be dressed very nicely. Look at their shoes. If they've taken care of their shoes and they've got nice shoes, they're probably going to take care of themselves. Yeah. It's just one of those basic rules. So when it comes to the basement space, the furnace, the central air, some of the exterior maintenance, that kind of thing. It's just one of those maintenance issues that it tends to override into other areas if they've taken care of the windows.
Good insight. I love that. Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts from Royal LePage, Triland Realty. Joan's phone number, 519-672-9880, joanball.com. The website address here on Ask the Experts. We'll return with more on News Talk 1290 right after these. And welcome back to Ask the Experts on News Talk 1290, CJBK, with our real estate expert, Joan Ball from Royal LePage, Triland Realty. You can reach Joan at 519-672-9880. And Joan, during the break there, I was just looking at the pictures of the home you have listed in Strathroy, 155 Deborah Drive. That is a beauty.
Yeah, it really is a great house. And it is right across the street from the hiking trailhead in Strathroy, and you can hike right into town. It's a fabulous location in the north end, and it's very accessible to everywhere. And this house has it all. Wow. And I think it's priced absolutely right on.
Excellent. And you can visit the website, joanball.com, click on My Listings, and you'll find that home, 155 Deborah Drive. It is a gorgeous home. I go back many, many years thinking of homes you've listed in Strathroy. Joan, you've worked in that area now. I mean, London is just your main, thrust, but Strathroy is no stranger to you, is it?
No, I do like Strathroy. I think it has a lot to offer. It's grown a lot over the years. Got some great restaurants, got some great shopping, all the conveniences, the Walmart, the Canadian Tire, some of the best carpeting stores are out there. I've used them a number of times, and it's very accessible. It's accessible to London. It's accessible to the 402. You can get into London and out to Sarnia if you need to. Or up to Cottage Country. So I think it offers a lot, and you can certainly see it because it's developing very quickly.
Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts. Got a question in the mailbag here, Joan, from Heather, who asks, I am listing my place soon and have a basement walk up to the garage. How much would this add to the value of the property? From Heather.
So one of the things about basement walk-ups is it really is an asset, and it can be an asset for a number of different reasons. It usually, if someone has a teenager, they want to be able to get up and down, or you're working in the yard and you want to go down and shower, there may be a bathroom down there. Just as far as convenience, getting things up and down from the lower level, it can be a huge asset. I usually will add about $15,000 to $20,000 just for the basement walk up, and that's different than a walkout. A walkout would go directly outside. A walk up goes into the garage, and most of the time it's a solid concrete stairwell and accesses right directly into the basement.
Interesting. I've never thought about those walk-ups before. Are there many? I'm trying to think in my mind and visualize. I can think of a couple people that I know that have that situation. But are there many out there, Joan?
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
Actually, it's there are individuals that certainly prefer that kind of a setup. And I think it's a huge asset.
All right. Good stuff. Thanks, Heather. Appreciate that question. I have another one here, Joan, and it is from Warren, who wants to know, downsizing is questionable in this market. Where does your expert expect things to go? From Warren.
So, and probably more so as far as the general market, Warren is probably more acquiring. I do think that we have a very steady market right now. We're certainly seeing the confidence level come back into the market, and that will to some degree be dependent on where inflation goes, what the Bank of Canada decides to do with the interest rate. But I do think that 2024 is going to recapture us back in line with continuing along the same vein. We may see interest rates dip a bit in 2024. That remains to be seen, but that's my projection. I think it's a solid market. If you're downsizing, I don't think you're going to see a huge increase in property prices over the next 2 years, but they'll stay pretty steady. And London does tend to sort of level out and stay that way for a bit. We're not as volatile as Vancouver, Toronto, or Montreal.
And that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It really is. And we're still very affordable, believe it or not. I mean, we've certainly seen an increase over the last few years, but we are still very affordable regardless of the interest rate increase.
Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts from Royal LePage, Triland Realty. Joan's phone number is 519-672-9880, joanball.com, the website address. After last program with you, Joan, ran into a family member who heard us talking about the village of Glendale Crossing and said she couldn't agree more with the review that you gave Glendale. There's others out there, of course, but she is very involved with an older family member that is at Glendale Crossing and just couldn't speak enough about the services that are provided there.
Well, I really think that we're starting to see some of the facility owners understand what's needed. And as we have this tsunami of seniors coming down the pipe, we need to present opportunities and options that help normalize that process and help give them the dignity and the respect that they all deserve.
Your involvement as well, working with seniors, Joan, goes back a long, long way, and there's a special touch needed sometimes, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that, we fail to realize as younger citizens that we're all headed that way. So if you want dignity in service and in facilities or in where you're going to live and house individuals, there's a wonderful concept out west in Langford, BC, which actually presents itself as a streetscape. And individuals have their own little abodes, and yet it is only offered for individuals with dementia. And it normalizes it. It gives them the opportunity to go to the corner store, to go to the hairdresser, to experience all the normal things that happen in life. Yet all the individuals that are staffed in that in that area are all caregivers, qualified caregivers, and they are in normal clothes. They're not in uniforms or anything. It's a wonderful one to take a look at, and really the Netherlands are miles ahead of us as far as this whole concept acceptance for seniors and making sure that they provide opportunities. And we really should be studying the Netherlands.
That's amazing. And what a concept. That was, did you say in Alberta, Joan, that one facility?
No, it's in BC. It's in Langford, BC.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I forget the name right now, but if you just look up dementia habitat Langford, BC. I'm sure you could find it. There was a small video on YouTube about it, which was very informative and really, really a wonderful concept.
Wow, that's fascinating. Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts from Royal LePage Tri-Land Realty. Give Joan a call anytime at 519-672-9880. JoanBall.com, the website address. Very informative, buying or selling. Check out JoanBall.com. Lots of great information there. Here on Ask the Experts, we'll return with more right after these. Our real estate expert, Joan Ball, with us on Ask the Experts here today on Newstalk 1290, CJBK from Royal LePage, Tri-Land Realty. Joan's number, 519-672-9880. Just a few minutes left here, Joan. If you don't mind, give us the, you've got one listing on your site as of today or right now and coming soon. Also, do you want to just touch base on both of those for us?
Sure. 155 Deborah Drive in Strathroy. Awesome. Executive one floor, 4 bedrooms, 2 on the main floor, 2 in the lower level. Large windows in the basement. I really like the size of the windows in the basement. Gives a lot of light. Full family room down there. Full bathroom as well. So 3 full bathrooms. The primary bedroom has its own walk-in closet and double sink ensuite. And it is just beautifully represented, double-car garage, and right across the street from the entrance to the hiking trailhead in Strathroy that can walk you right into town, listed for $729,900. And I won't be doing open houses this weekend, but I will be next weekend from 2 to 4 on Saturday and Sunday if anybody wants to take a look. And then 441 Burdock Place is coming up, and that's going to be listed at $299,900, and that is a great opportunity for someone.
Excellent, good stuff. Just a minute here, Joan. I want to get to this one. I'm very curious here. Everly has a question. Says form or function, which is more important in real estate?
Really good point, and I always will go with function will trump form.
Okay.
So when you're going through a property, you want to look at, does it work? Does it flow? Does it actually create that opportunity? Function is, one of those things that I think creates the value. Form will create the aesthetics.
Okay. Everly, have you ever had that question before, Joan?
No.
Never. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that, Everly. Thank you. Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290, CJBK from Royal LePage, Tri-Land Realty, 519-672-9880, JoanBall.com, the website address. Joan, it sounds like you're in the midst of a busy spring and into what looks like as well a busy summer.
I think so. Got the running shoes on.
And I know with you, they are shined up, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're looking good and clean, I'm sure. Joan, thank you so much. As always, great to talk to you. Great advice and great insight, as always, and information. I know our listeners appreciate it as well. You have yourself a great weekend, and we'll talk again in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Ryan.
Awesome. Thank you. Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290 CJBK. And you can also listen to Joan Monday to Friday on Real Estate Matters here on Ask the Experts.